True friends are really hard to come by, and it's actually the maintenance process that weeds out those flimsy friends, and no one really likes a flimsy friend. In this video, I'm going to really hone in on what it is certain people do that just makes you want to keep them around for a lifetime. Okay, it's those people that are just beloved, they're irreplaceable, you trust implicitly, they make you feel damn good, those kinds of people. I don't need to tell you not to lie to your friend, not to steal their partner, not to gossip behind their back. I don't need to get into that in this video. What I'm going to discuss are some lesser known but incredibly impactful gestures that you can do if you want to be that friend that people want to stick around. And in being a great friend, you can also attract great friends in return. Tip number 7 is actually going to be a little trick that I like to use to sort of weed out those unappreciative, basically crappy friends that I don't think a lot of people know, so stick around for that. Also, welcome. I'm Corina Elena. I happen to be brand new to the YouTube universe, as you call it, the way that you are probably new to my channel. So, welcome. I'd really appreciate a like and subscribe if you find my information at all useful to you. That really helps me out. Let's get on with it, shall we? Tip number 1 is be supportive, not critical of their romantic partner. You know how Jordan Peterson says people who publicly criticize their romantic partner between friends might as well be holding up a flag saying, "I'm an idiot"? It's kind of the same idea here. Honestly, this should go without saying, but you'd be surprised how many people do this. Women sometimes have a tendency to do this, unfortunately. We tend to very openly bash our boyfriends, especially during our girly get-togethers. I don't encourage you to do that. We forget, especially from our distant perspective, just how precious that relationship is between a person and their romantic partner. And they have such tremendous impact on our lives. And if we see our friends backing and encouraging our partner, that is such an incredible feeling. Also, the next time you're feeling gossipy or critical for no reason, remember that you don't really know your friend's partner the way they do. And frankly, it's not really any of your business. I know that your distant perspective can probably spot red flags a little bit more readily, but that is a very touchy subject. If you do spot a red flag, consider very carefully before mentioning it to your friend, because that could very well be the end of their relationship and you don't know their circumstances, and so on. Anyways, different topic. So anyways, that's the first point. Number 2, if they criticize their parents, don't join in. Listen instead. Now, if their parents are totally horrible human beings, that is an even more delicate matter that I will not be touching upon. Number 2 is under the assumption that their parents are semi-normal people that make mistakes just like any other parent, okay? So, if your friend bashes their parents, just listen. Show that you understand and empathize with them. Be attentive, acknowledge their struggles using various physical gestures and sympathetic noises. That's a little technical, but it works. It is incredibly important that you remain neutral in delicate matters such as this. Believe me, if you follow suit and belittle, scoff, and mock their parents the way they are in the moment, even if it's just a little, I can guarantee that your friend will grow to resent you over time. How do I know this? Because it happened to me. I had a very good friend. We were very close for many years. She always lended an ear to me every time I complained about my mother. She would randomly bring up my mother in instances where we weren't talking about her, and say things like, "Well, that person's bad, but not as bad as your mother," and so on. Little things like that. And you could also say, "That's on me, my fault." And guess what happened? I actually started to dislike her. So just trust me on this one. Remain neutral, lend a listening ear, and don't join the blame game. Number 3, know their parents' birthdays. Knowing a person's birthday is already such an underrated way to get on their good side and show that you appreciate them and pay attention to them. But knowing your friends' parents' birthdays is like literally a whole nother ball game. Now, I'm not saying buy the parents a full-blown gift, mail a card or take them out to dinner. It doesn't have to be anything grandiose like that. What I typically do is I send a well thought out, genuine text wishing them well, happy birthday. This is such a beautiful gesture, and trust me, your friends will appreciate you for this just the same way that the parents will. So input those birthdays into Google Calendar. You'll never forget them for years and years to come. And yeah, that is a very easy tip. Let's move on. Number 4 and 5 go hand in hand with one another. 4, defend their name in their absence. 5, do not complain about them, especially to mutual friends. First of all, it always gets back to them, whatever you say, even if it's in confidence. Second of all, it says a lot more about you, the complainer, than the actual complainee. Third of all, you got something to say it to their face, because this is not high school. Come on. Okay, so defending their name. Believe it or not, this can actually be difficult to do sometimes. For instance, you see something that they're doing wrong, and when you bring it to their attention, they shut you down. Frustrating, right? And then some mutual friend happens to share the exact same frustration with you over the same person, and you and them go on this long rant about this friend. Don't do it. Just don't. It's very tempting, especially when you're in a position of frustration, but just don't engage. Alternatively, what I suggest, if you really must say anything, say something that both acknowledges your friend's shortcomings in a respectful manner, followed by some supportive, positive comments such as, "I have all the faith that they will grow from this," etc. So those were 2 tips that I felt needed to be said. Okay, on to number 6. Okay, number 6 is a little more obvious and more widely discussed, but I'm adding it anyway. Don't turn your friend into your personal, free of charge therapist. I understand that venting and opening up to one another on deeper issues can really strengthen a relationship, okay? I'm all for it. And showing that you are there to listen to their struggles is such a crucial building block to a lifelong friendship. However, your deep, dark, psychological issues are not to be dumped on your poor friend. Okay, do I need to say that again? Detailed accounts of private arguments with other people, traumatic events, non-stop complaining about how the universe is against you. Not to say that you can't ever do it. Just don't make it a habit or even an expectation in a friendship. I understand that this can be difficult to do for a lot of people. Life isn't fair, and some of us have more struggles than others through no fault of our own. But that's just the motto of life, it's not fair, and we don't want to be that friend that lets our problems control us and dump those on our friends. That's not the right thing to do. Okay, I said it. There you go. All right, on to the last tip, where I will actually share a little trick on how to weed out crappy friendships. Let's go. Number 7, drive long distances to their important events. Okay, let me elaborate. So say your friend is a musician and they have a gig somewhere that's like 2 hours away out of town. If you have time and this friend is important to you, okay, go for it. Attend the darn event. Drive the 2 hours. Maybe they're giving a speech, or maybe they're running a race. I don't know. Maybe they're giving a presentation and they need you there for moral support, but it just so happens to be 2 to 3 hours away. Okay, you can do that sometimes. In my opinion, anyone can drive the 15-20 minute commute to an event of mine, but a person that drives 2+ hours to see me, to support me, is a true friend. This is such an underrated, not spoken about at all, gesture. It really distinguishes you from the other friends that they have. So I suggest, if you got the time and you really appreciate this friend, go for it. Trust me, they will love you for it. And if they don't, if they show that they don't really care that much that you drove that long way, or they don't include you, trust me, that is the biggest sign that they don't actually care for you. So that is my tip to weed out the crappy friendships, the flimsy friendships, if you will. If you took the time to drive there and they're not taking the time to give you a hug, to thank you from the bottom of their hearts, etc., whatever, that's a sign. And you would rather find out sooner than later, right? So there you go. I really hope this was helpful to you in some way, shape, or form, and that you learned something new and potentially impactful in your current relationships. Anyways, thank you so much for watching till the end. Hopefully you did. I really hope to see you in the next one. Bye now.